feel like talking about something, and I want to talk about this push, this agenda for brown women to constantly people pushing brown women to get involved in the problems of the world. Now, other people will make it shown, no matter who they are, they will make it shown that they are not concerned about her well-being, and specifically the brown women in the United States of America. I'm not really seeing it pushed on brown women in Africa, brown women in different parts of the world. Uh, this type of Aunt Jemima type of caring attitude is mostly pushed on brown women in the United States of America. And I want to talk about the dangers of really just the dangers of having that kind of heart. That kind of heart is that's almost demonic. I'm gonna call it that. It's demonic. It's not even about having a big heart. I have such a big heart. No, 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 no. Uh-uh. I don't like the way the 3D world has misdefined a lot of things. They have misdefined forgiveness. They make it seem like forgiveness is about forgiving somebody else. And so because when you talk about forgiveness, you've got to really think about this person instead of what metaphysically what it really means to release stuff up off of you that don't have nothing to do with nobody else. It's some stuff that you're carrying. It's all about being as light as a feather. Don't care. It don't matter. It doesn't have anything to do with letting somebody else or some other energy off the hook with doing something to you. But the way the 3D world will explain it, because of the way the church is, the way that Christianity is in the 3D world, I'm talking about the 3D world, it has you looking on the outside. It has you believing that there is such a thing as the outside. It has you believing there is such a thing as the outside when we are really in a subconscious mind. So maybe this is for me because I know this is my subconscious mind. I think this is a message more for me than anybody else. And I already know this, but I like to say it out loud to keep reminding myself because I really think this is more for me. This is like, I've said this before, this is my subconscious mind. I'm not gonna say it's not because that's the truth. This is my subconscious mind. This whole world that I see is my subconscious mind. And so when it comes to and so when this is my subconscious mind, I'm basically inside of some kind of a dream. I'm really dealing with what's going on with my soul. And so whatever I see and whoever I see, they don't exist for real. They don't exist for real. This is like everything that's taking place in my afterlife in the subconscious mind, dealing with the soul. Okay, so when it comes to forgiveness, if somebody do something to me now, it's hard. It's hard because when you mostly see things as outer, then it's hard to know that it's not really those entities or people that's doing anything to you. It's a matter of the heart. There's something going on with the soul. But when you understand that there's really no such thing as outside, then you'll see that it's not really about forgiving somebody else that you think exists, because none of this stuff is real. You know, but in the 3D world, it's training you to see everything is outside. And so, but I want to get back to the topic of brown women. Um, the agenda of getting brown women in this particular realm of existence that is currently my current reality. Um, and it's a constant push to get brown women to constantly care about everything. You know, but then nobody wants to fight for the brown woman when it comes to her. And that can't work because you taking care of everybody else. But then when it comes to something, when you need help, you complain too much. And I'm talking about the specific brown women that do this. So not every single person with brown skin has this type of problem. Not everybody with brown skin has that problem. And then you have some women with brown women in the United States that probably used to have that problem, and they said absolutely not anymore, right? because that weighs you down. You're not going to be light as a feather. You need to be light as a feather, right? And I'm talking to myself, right? And others who's listening, but like I said, this is my subconscious mind. Um, you need to be light as a feather. And you can't be light as a feather constantly carrying somebody else's burdens. And so I feel like the push for brown women to constantly carry somebody else's burdens is to make sure that she stays at the bottom. I always said brown women being at the bottom is spiritual. It's not about, because if it was about, listen, if it was about finances and whatever, what or brown women supposedly is the most educated, right? She has the most degrees. Brown women, I don't know how much money they, brown women collectively make, right? Because you don't, it's not like a huge population. So when it comes with the average salary that a brown woman make, you have to include all of them in the population. It's not that huge according to the census in the United States, but at the same time, not all brown people are filling out a census, so you really don't know the correct number anyway. Because a lot of brown people are not, they're not filling out census, and you don't know if people are not present, right? Uh, but either way, my point is, now I do feel like what's putting her at. I'm gonna tell you what else is putting brown women at the bottom. I'm just gonna go and say it. It's brown men. It's her own men that she gives birth to that makes sure she stays at the bottom. I really feel like, and I don't mean this in any bad way. I'm gonna go from observation. This is completely not even about how I feel. No ego in this. It has nothing to do with it. It's based on what I see. I can care less. I feel like the brown woman is at the bottom because the brown man makes sure that she stays there. This is based on observation. It's based on what I see online alone because that's what carries. I don't care if you're not really seeing that stuff in person. The bottom line is they get on TV saying stuff. They get on their songs and say stuff. They get on YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook, or whatever they can, and they say the most, Twitch or whatever, Instagram, and say some of the most egregious things about brown women. So it doesn't matter if it's not happening in person. They put this stuff out there for the whole world to see. That right there is what, to me, is a big part of what keeps brown women at the bottom, because it's not just them running their mouths. Let me make it clear. I don't want to put 100% blame on them because it's not 100% blame on them. Brown women continuing to allow the abuse and support him, support the brown men as a collective. I mean, I'm not talking about support a brown man who clearly supports you back. Like if it's a two-way, like if it's a two-way type of relationship, like you give to him, he give back to you, whatever, then that's fine. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as a collective. Brown women at this point should not support brown men as a collective. And because brown women have that Aunt your mama type of energy, instead, I'd rather her have a Jezebel. I'd rather brown women, now I don't care for neither one of them. Let me just make it clear. I don't care for neither one of them. But I would rather her have a Jezebel type of energy over that Aunt your mama. Because the Aunt your mama, it don't matter how much you abuse her. It doesn't matter how much you disrespect her. She's always going to have your back. And that is the problem with the collective of brown women that I'm seeing in my particular subconscious mind, in this particular reality that I'm witnessing. Is that brown women have that, the collective, not all of them, they have that Aunt your mama type of energy on them where they're going to support brown men no matter what they do to them. They should not be supporting the collective of brown men. They should not. And the problem is, folks that have you feeling bad, well, you shouldn't be paying attention to that. Look, you don't tell me what I need to pay attention to. I'll pay attention to whatever I feel like paying attention to. And you know why? Because a person who wants to tell you what to do, they ain't perfect either. The person who wants to tell you what to do, they ain't perfect either. They have no business telling you what you need to care about because they are not perfect themselves. Okay? Um, but yeah, but anyway, getting back to this agenda for brown women, when they kept having all this shootings with the brown male, I know it has been about the brown women. All this stuff happening with brown men is really about brown women and having her constantly be concerned and scared. Because I don't think brown men cared as much about brown men getting shot down as the brown women did. I didn't see it publicly. It looked like the brown woman was always um um what you call it, protesting and doing stuff online. It seemed like I would hear the brown women's voices more than I would hear the brown men's voices during that whole time. Right? It seemed like the brown woman was louder. See, and that's that kind of stuff that keep her vibrating low. That's that kind of stuff right there that's going to keep her vibrating low. And then every time something comes on, it's the brown woman that needs to be caring about this stuff. Absolutely not. No. Like, it's time for brown women to be light as a feather. It's time, and you can't be light as a feather trying to constantly care about what's going on with other people. You can't carry that burden in your heart. Because when you carry that burden in your heart, and the folks got to tell you, you got to do your shadow work. No, which part of shadow work is not bringing not taking on other people's, baggage. And when you constantly caring about somebody else and what somebody else is going through and constantly trying to be an advocate for somebody else, you're taking on that baggage, and that adds to your shadow. You lighten up their load, but it adds to your shadow. It adds to you. It makes you heavier and heavier and heavier as they get lighter and lighter and lighter. Okay? To me, that's it's not even my opinion. It's what I know at this point. Like, it's just what I know at this point. Even if somebody disagrees, it doesn't matter. It's what I know at this point. That stuff spiritually is causing brown women to vibrate lower. It's making them heavier and heavier. And that's why I say I don't care for neither one of them. But out of the two, I like the Jezebel a little bit better. It's good to have that Aunt Jemima around, somebody who care about you when you in your time of need. But that Jezebel is going to be vibrating a little bit higher because she's not carrying all that baggage and those burdens like that. Now, I'm not saying that Jezebel is a good person. You know, the true Jezebel of that person that was in the Bible. Oh, she's gonna unalive whatever it takes. She's gonna do what it takes to get what she wants, if it means unaliving somebody. And that's literally what's in the part. It was in was it First Kings? I think it was First Kings. Anyway, it was with King Ahab when he wanted that vineyard from that guy, and that guy didn't want to sell it to him. So King Ahab went crying back to Jezebel, and Jezebel told him, "You the king, dry your tears." And she went and he had that man unalived and said, here's the land. Okay? Jezebel don't take no for no answer. If she wants something, she's not going to take no for an answer. She don't care. Like, Jezebel don't care. So that part I don't care, but like, I don't want to just, like, if somebody says no to me, then I'm going to go and by any means necessary, I'm going to take something from them. Like, if they're telling me no, like, nobody else can tell me no. And the reason I have a problem with that is because, okay, but Jezebel is allowed to say no to people. If she don't want something, she's allowed to say no. So then other people should be allowed to say no to her. So, like, I don't like that type of I don't care for that either. Because if you're allowed to say no to people, then other people should be allowed to say no to you. That's the way I see it. You know, but other than that, I feel like even if you're not taking it to that extreme, I feel like aspects of Jezebel is better than having that Aunt Jemima. Because Aunt Jemima, you can't be carrying people's burdens like that. And see, I understand Aunt Jemima very well. Now, I don't understand what it's like to be a Jezebel, but I understand Aunt Jemima too well. And I'm going to tell you something. Aunt Jemima is, to me, I don't know if she's worse than Jezebel. If a person with that Jezebel spirit is going around unalive, and even if it's a baby, I'm not going to say it's worse. But I can say the Aunt Jemima energy, from my experience, is very, very bad to have. Because you will never finish doing shadow work. You're constantly doing shadow work because you're always taking on somebody else's burdens. So you're never going to rise. You're never going to vibrate higher. You're never going to get there because somebody always putting their stuff on you that you can never get where you're trying to. You always is the sacrifice. Okay? What I like about the Jezebel, I like a bit, I want a piece of the Jezebel. I don't want to go too far. You know how people say it's good to have balance. I want to have a lot more Jezebel and maybe just a little bit. I don't like Aunt Jemima. Let me tell you, I don't like Aunt Jemima at all. Like, I don't like the energy because I experience that energy. I don't like it. I don't like one piece of it. I don't like one piece of it. I don't like one piece of it because I've already had the experience with that energy. I don't like it. That's a sacrificial energy, and I absolutely hate it. That's why I struggle with listening to some brown women online. But brown women have, some of them got to the point where they not like defending brown men like that. So I can tolerate listening to some of them now. But it was a time I couldn't tolerate listening to brown women with that sacrificial, like they so sacrificial, and because I have experience with that energy, I hate it. I literally hate it. Okay, I would like to have a lot more of that Jezebel, but not to the point where I'm unaliving folks who just want to say no. Because if I have a right to say no, then they have a right to say no too. But I like what I like about the Jezebel is like I don't want to give a darn. Like I don't want. I'm not carrying other people's problems unless they are willing to carry mine. Unless unless they are willing to lighten my load and take on my burdens, that is the only way that's going to happen. That is the only way I can care about what's happening with others if they are willing to take on my burdens, because I can't take their burdens and constantly be weighed down, but then they go to mind their business. When it comes to my problem, they mind their business. So it can't happen like that. And that Jemima energy don't care how much nobody else helps her. She's always going to feel like she's supposed to be helping somebody else. She's always going to feel like she's supposed to give somebody the shirt off her back. Okay. Even if she don't get it in return, she think that's what she's supposed to be doing. I don't know. And if that's truly what the Bible teaches, that's the reason why a lot of people are not Christians. Because I'm not going to say that the Bible don't teach that. I will hope not. I would hope the Bible wouldn't tell you to constantly give without getting anything back in return, because that's imbalance. That is literally no balance at all. That's no balance. There's no balance in that. So I would hope the Bible would not teach you constantly give and you never getting anything in return. There's no reciprocity. I would hope the Bible doesn't teach that. And if it does, I can see why people don't want to be Christians. Right? I won't say I don't see where it really teaches that, but I'm not gonna say it doesn't because, like I say, I don't know everything. But anyway, I gotta go. I just feel like talking about that a little bit. Like I see the agenda, the push and the gaslighting towards brown women to constantly take on other people's problems. It's so she can constantly vibrate lower. When the people keep putting their baggage on her, that's adding to her shadow. Everything that's going on in her shadow is not really her own. It's other people's. Because she's taking on other folks' burdens. That's what happens when you're an advocate for other folks. You're taking on their burdens. But anyway, that's it. I gotta go, and I'll talk later. Alrighty, buddies.